Hey guys, it's Millie here. Ableton just dropped another push standalone miniature version. We will get into all that, but before that, I just got home from work. I just found out the news as soon as I clocked in, but I have a Zoom meeting in a couple of minutes, and of course I want to get comfortable. Okay, wait, before even that, a quick announcement. My closet, I am turning it into a vocal studio. I just ordered a couple things for it, so stay tuned for that video. It is going to look nice. This whole studio room is finally coming all together. Anyways, I'll see you in the video. That's better. So Ableton dropped Move. So what is Ableton Move? I'm just going to read Sweetwater's description. Ableton's Move is the next gen fusion of form and function, meticulously engineered to transform the lauded sounds, instruments, effects, and performance tools of Ableton into a truly standalone instrument. No DAW required. Now the Move is only 4-track enabled. You have 1500 preset sounds, instruments, and effects. If you didn't know, when you turn on Ableton's Move, it comes with 4 tracks with presets already enabled. I believe it's set with drum, pad, lead, and etc. Your instruments are limited to drum sampler, wavetable, drift, and melodic sampler, where your effects are reverb, delay, saturation, chorus ensemble, phaser, flanger, redux, channel EQ, and compressing. Now face value, some of this stuff doesn't seem bad. What the Move also offers is built-in speakers and also a built-in microphone. A built-in microphone might be game changing. So similar to the push, you have your 4 track buttons here, you have your encoders, 8 of them here, 32 pads, you have your main encoder here, you have your capture, MIDI right here, loop, dedicated delete button, undo button, you have a recording or sampling, however they want to call it, you have your mute button, and you have a copy button. And you have a shift button. The shift button does what most shift buttons do. It changes the original button you're going to press into something else. As we go down to all these buttons with nothing on them, when I first saw this, I was like, whoa, that is so many buttons. What is it used for? To launch the clips? But no, here you have where you can navigate your loops, your nudges, your octave for your note mode. It has note mode and session mode just as the push would. Now with these buttons, it will be a breeze for, people who know all the shortcuts to Pro Tools, all the shortcuts to Ableton. It will be a breeze to memorize all of this. So this is fairly new to push 2 owners, push 3 owners. This is a true new device. With that being said, we have quantization, double loop, we have ARP and repeat, full velocity, key and scales, layout, groove, metronome, tempo, workflow settings, setup, set overview, play and record. Now take a look at how you're going to be looking at this. That is a lot to remember. Now luckily, when you're doing certain functions and things like holding down the shift button, as you see here, you will kind of get a lit up indicator of what you're using, such as the metronome visually. I can find a better example. Oh, like here. So you can see new set, I believe here. I don't even remember what else this was. Oh, this is groove, tempo, workflow settings. Okay, so you'll definitely be needing to read the manual with this one. Moving up from the play and record button, we already talked about the 4 select tracks. You have your back button, long press to close. Okay, you have your toggle session and note mode. Control the screen here, this small thing with the wheel, and you have loop overview, so 4-bar loop most of the time, I believe. And you have your instruments and effects. Then on the back, you just have 4 connections. You have a headphone output, audio in, 3.5 millimeter jack, so nothing like a TRS 1/4 inch cable. So I don't know if you could really get anything super high quality sound with that. Then you have a MIDI USB here, which is nice, and then you have a way to connect it to your computer, of course. Now with the Move, it is going to be $450 US, which when you learn more about this, I'm not gonna lie, there are better alternatives. I know there are people like me who are loyal to the company and really love certain products that companies use, like me with Apple, or even with Ableton with me buying the push standalone and Arturia, etc. You definitely want to consider the fact that you will only have 4 tracks. Now this thing is small, so it makes sense. Before we get into if this is good for you or for someone else, we need to consider the target audience. Who was this made for? Because I didn't even tell you, though you can record on here, though you can have samples on here. You cannot chop your samples. There is simply no way to chop the audio. And for the price range, I mean, you have some standalone devices that are only, you know, worth a little bit more or a little bit less that can do all of that. So I definitely think that the 4 tracks and the not being able to chop the samples is really a letdown, but that doesn't mean it's not for somebody, because not everybody is a beat sampler, not everybody is a crazy 16 track enthusiast. So it definitely is for people who want to keep it simple, because looking at the Push 3, in my opinion, it is fun to learn, but there is still a lot to learn. So in my opinion, as someone who already owns a Push, I don't mind carrying around my Push standalone sometimes. And for something like this, it really is for the Move. Though the Push 3 is standalone, it can hinder you sometimes from its size and weight for you to be so mobile. But with the Move, you aren't chained to it just being a standalone device. It can still be used, of course, with Ableton Live. So then that's when I scratch my chinny chin and like, this is not that bad. But then again, I look at other MIDI devices such as the Arturia Minilab 3, the Novation Launch Key, or any other functional MIDI devices, and like $450 for this. Me personally, I'ma just wait it out, because just like the Push 3 standalone, people gave up on it, understandably so, because there were things that you should be able to do on a $2,000 device that you could not do. But then here came the bug fixes. 12.1 just dropped. And let me tell you, everybody's excited because they also gave some love to the Push 2 owners. So the Move definitely caters to those who are trying to get into standalone devices now. So the Move might just be following a trend of trying to allure music makers who are trying to get into standalone. It looks like it could fit into your hoodie pocket. I heard people say it relates to the Ableton Note app on your phone. So I mean, I can really see who would buy this. And another nice thing here is that when you record something through Wi-Fi or USB, you can grab that recording. Unlike the Push 3, I don't think you can do that right now. So you can manage the sets and files on your Move, the sync sets with Ableton Cloud, and more. So I'm definitely curious to see how this plays out with people in their music production. As I said, it comes in with a built-in microphone, so that's something. Built-in speakers, that's something. But yeah, let me know down in the comments how you feel about this, whether you're gonna get it or not. But before we conclude this video, I want to talk about the new update 12.1. 12.1, people have been waiting and waiting. I have been waiting. Because when you're making music using the beta, Ableton says be cautious. There could be crashes, you can't open it on the later versions, of course, and a couple other things, but we're here now. So if you were using the beta, we have auto shift here now, which is a real-time pitch tracking and correction device. So not necessarily auto tune, but Ableton has its own pitch correcting device, which I think that you can do some unique things with that. Then you have drum sampler, which can really abstract and break down your drum samples with some nice modulation effects that you can apply, and it just gives you a faster way to flip and manage and fine-tune your beats, which is nice. One thing that I really love is that this also comes with the Push 3 standalone is auto tagging for all of your samples. For those like me who have thousands and thousands of sample libraries, you like me have probably been using ADSR Sample Manager, but that requires you to load in the plugin, search through your samples, load the sample into your DAW, but Ableton now auto tags it, which is nice. Now we kind of have a different limiter, and saturator pretty much does the same thing, just with different layout, different user interface, with some new things like mid-side routing, true peak, soft clip, and maximize modes. We have improvements with MIDI editing. Some of these things allow you to create curves with the MPE parameters of the selected notes. And here's one of the big things that I saw people wanting to use with Push, and you see Push 2 and Push 3 has this. With the Push 3 in standalone, now you can create macro variations. You can rename the tracks there, you can move the tracks, because before you would have to load in a session, move it however you wanted it, make macro variations, and then move it back into your Push standalone. And trust me, I'm glad that I got it right when the beta came out, because man, that's tough for the people who went through that. And it also does auto tagging for the Push 2 and Push 3 if you don't want to use the mouse and keyboard while you're using Ableton. We have a new pack, MIDI generators and transformation from Max for Live, which is nice. A sequencer pack, by Ableton themselves. And that is where we reach the end, guys. So I'm super pumped to use the new features on my Push 3 standalone the most. So let me know down in the comments, which feature are you most excited to use? And which feature do you wish for Ableton to drop in the next update? Thank you guys for watching the video. I'm Merely Hunter, and I'll see you in the next one.